So hi, if you know me, and if you don't, well, welcome. You might have a good idea, might be why you're here, but you never guess what I've just bought. It's not the Land Rover. It's this. Like a proud new father of a fairly old, tatty, decrepit baby. I suppose you better have a look round it. So this is the Marlin. Don't know a huge amount. It was built in '89, registered in 1990 by fire trucks. The chassis was built by Reynolds Boughton, and Reynolds Boughton then bought fire trucks and built several of these, but this is apparently the first one. Not really sure why I've decided to buy it. Just go up here a bit. It seems such a shame that it was sat doing nothing, and so unusual. It would be a real shame for it to be left and go for scrap. I'll sort of have a clamber around. I looked at this a couple of weeks ago. It's in poor condition, but it's in better condition than I expected. We just have a quick peek in the cab. So it's got a central driving position, 4 seats, 3 in the front here, and there is one up over the back there. You can see the driving position. We've got vehicle controls here on the left hand side, main gauges and warning lights, most of which don't work, and your fire controls on the right hand side. I've discovered this morning, it's fitted with a Renk transmission. It's got a 12V92 twin turbocharged Detroit 2-stroke diesel engine in the back, which we're going to have a quick look at. Don't know who made the fire pump just yet, and I don't really know who made the axles, because they're all 3 of them are missing their data plates. So come on up here. So we've got the cover for the phone tank. This white hoop here is a handle to operate the monitor manually, but it does have a powered monitor. You've got the water tank here. Just have a quick, can't really see anything in there. The piece here is a drain, and it just drops the water straight out the bottom of the tank when the water gets to that height. Second point for the water. The rack here is for ladder storage, but when it was built originally it didn't have this. The short ladder storage was up behind where that folded down light is, and so you can see the monitor on the top of the roof. And then here we have the engine bay. Unfortunately the canopy won't move more than about 1.5 foot at the moment. So you can open it about 1.5 foot and you can close it this far, but it won't fully close. 2 air intakes missing their mushrooms, and then down in here we have, you can see half of it, the Detroit V12, the world's possibly largest radiator. There's 2 big turbochargers, and yeah, you see one of the air filters at least from here. These covers over the air filters do come off. I'm going to take them off in a minute to have a look. I've not had them off yet. So yeah, we'll start her up in a minute. It hasn't been started today. It starts very well. The engine seems to be really good, but there's a lot of problems with the brakes. It needs a full set of brake lines. There's a lot of electrical problems. There's corrosion in the cab quite badly. There's a hydraulic problem with the monitor, so it's stuck where it is now. It'll go up and down, but it won't go left and right, it's jammed. That's something else we need to look at. Lots of valves don't work. We haven't even tried putting water in it. It's well, it's early, late November, it's early December. Don't really want to put water in it until the spring. And in reality, the last thing we need to worry about is the fact that it's not pumping water at the minute. Oh dear. Outside, I'll see if we can quickly show you the axles, because hopefully, eventually somebody might look at this video and say, oh, I know exactly what axle that is. So, if I come under here, I don't know if you'll be able to see anything, it's a bit dingy. No, you can't really. I'll have to get a torch under here in a minute. And oh, that's better. So you see, that's the front axle. Big disc brake for the hydraulic, for the handbrake. There's a disc on each axle, and it's disc brake behind the wheels as well. You can't really see them, but well, I'll get under with my phone camera and see if we can get some better shots under here in a minute. Right, so I've just had a look, and that rather crusty looking valve just there is what's leaking. It needs to be stuck open, which might be why I can't charge the handbrake. I can hear other air leaking, but that's the major leak that I've got. So I'm going to have to go get it off, but because I'm a high class mechanic, I've currently only got with me an adjustable spanner and a pair of long nose pliers. So I'm going to have a go, but I have to come back with proper tools. What is this not? Oh, there we go. So there's the valve off. We're going to have to take it home and have a look at it. I don't have the gear here to open it up. Well, an device and a decent sized screwdriver, which we don't have, so we'll go home and put that in the device, but yeah, hopefully we might be able to free it up. It's very rusty inside, so I think it might just be mucky. Right, okay, I'm really good at this. There's a spray control there, which is controlled by this lever for manual operation. And there's a hydraulic lines going to it, so I think it's hydraulic operated as well. But the joystick's broken off and the switch is missing. Got the remains of the joystick, but it's not salvageable unfortunately. So we've got that there. Down on here, I've opened up this footplate. I don't know if you can see in there very well. There's a filler, which I assume is an oil filler for the pump. Because the pump is well, you can't really see it, but well, there you go, there's the top of the pump. It's a bit of a monster of a thing really. These cables here are from the air valves to these here, which are your emergency controls for your water and your phone. So if you get a failure, you can still use them. Right, over this side now, you can see here we've got the hydraulic ram for raising and lowering when it's powered. We have the airlock, which locks it in place for transport, and you can just about see down there's a hydraulic motor for the slew with a control valve, well, with a regulator valve down here. The slew doesn't seem to work, it just leaks oil when you try and operate it. The yellow valve is the main on and off for the monitor. These here, I think, are to do with foam injection for the sidelines and possibly the monitor. There's a few other bits and pieces down there. There's a big hydraulic control block, which is probably the monitor controls, a couple of valves and things, but yeah, it's going to take a lot of working out to understand what all of this does. But that's under the deck plates. This whole plate's going to have to come up at some point so I can work out what's going on. Right, I've taken up the back decking plates on the engine bay, and we've got the 4 batteries down here We've got some, that's the start solenoids and ignition solenoids. I'm not sure what the air system there is for, although it does have an air stop, an air throttle. So the back of one of the silencers, on the back of this board here, it's actually a connection for like an intercom. Quite why it's got it, I don't know. So you can see it there. There's also something there once upon a time. Maybe that was a start. We've got this apparatus here. There's 3 relays and that controller. Not sure what it says on there. Can't quite make it out from here. It's got something about a set point and a reset point. Synchro start. Oh, that might be if it uses 2 sets of batteries to start. We might have 2 start motors, I don't know. So we've got some oil filters down there, 2 rather large ones. A bit awkward to get to in a way. And down below that, we need to make a frame up to hold those batteries, really, don't we? That would be helpful. Down below that there is a 240 volt air compressor, because this thing has a 240 volt system, so it can be plugged in, and the idea is the air system, the engine is heated, and the air system is kept charged. There's something else as well. Oh, obviously there's a battery charger. There's a big battery charger down below. Keep the batteries charged at all times. So that's quite a bit of kit, really. Whether it works or not, I don't know. You can just about make out there. That is the controller for it, the pressure valve. Down here, you see a nice bird's nest, and the alternator, which has recently been rebuilt, but the gland is missing off the electrics, and there's a wire disconnected. Might be why my tacho doesn't work. I need to have a look at that. On the back of the engine down here, we've got a rather large air compressor. It actually surprises me because it takes ages to build air, but that could well be just to do with all of the other problems we've got. On the other side there, you can just about make out that, which I think is the takeoff for the PTO, maybe? It's hard to tell. There's loads of bits and pieces down there that go off to the, I think it's to do with the throttle, and also to do with the gearbox, like the kick-down system on it. I did have a bit of trouble with that the other day, so I might climb down the sill and give it a squirt with something to free it up because it was sticking. If we come here, we can see nice tube of air cleaner boxes, which unfortunately are, at least this one closest, is completely rotten, where it's had its caps missing. So I was half hoping to find them down in this bay somewhere, but they're not here. So we'll have to get a new one of those, probably end up buying 2 new ones, which are going to cost a fortune, I suspect, and a couple of mushrooms for them. There's engine bay lighting, which I don't think works, so that's quite a thing. If we look down here, we've got a load more valves, big hydraulic valves for air. You can't really see it actually. Oh, there you go. The hydraulic valve, air ramp, don't know what that does. Some more gubbins there. There appears to be a breather pot of some type, which goes off to the bell housing. Hydraulic filter down there. We've got a couple of big Donaldson filters down there. I'm not sure what they are. I don't even know where to start on it, really. This is. I do wonder if this was a bad idea at times, but we've got it now, so we'll try our best. Unfortunately, like I said, the engine bay cover doesn't want to open more than about a foot, which is a bit of a problem. But you see the back of the engine there, the front of the engine's down here, which I was showing you earlier. There's quite big spaces down there. Some more filters down the bottom, more filler tube, air filter checks. think that is a fuel primer there that's sticking up. And well, we've got a visit from one of the farm cats, which is nice. Hopefully he'll stop any mice getting in here. Should be good. Nice big flashing beacon on the back, and a place where another one should be. So I'm not going to mess with the electrics at the moment with the air valve off, because I don't want to flatten the batteries if I can help it. And I'm really good at this camera malarkey, as you can probably tell by all the cuts in the edit. I don't want to flatten the batteries right now. I'm going to go home, put these panels back on, go home, have a look at that air valve, see if I can fix it. If I can't, I will try and get another one this week. At least if we get that sorted, just step in the right direction. I can move it about a bit, get the brakes working properly, move it about a bit. I need to replace some brake hoses that are rotted through. And I'll try and get this engine canopy opening, and when we do, we'll have a good look around the engine bay properly. Right, so just going to have a quick show you around the lockers. This is the locker on the passenger side, at the front. In here, I've taken the back panel down so we can have a look. Yep, we've got a big air distribution block, I would think that is, for all the firefighting side of things. Got the air lubricator, which actually got some oil in, I'm surprised about. Down here, we have a nice big Godiva fire pump that is driven off that PTO on the engine. And here we have quite a hefty junction box, which at some time has had quite a bit of water in it. I just noticed it was dripping water out when I took this panel off, so I am going to leave it undone, so that if water gets into it quickly, it can get out quickly again. The shutter on this locker as well doesn't really like to open and close. It's a bit iffy. So if we carry on this side, we've then got the two big side lockers. We have, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, those are the lines, side lines. Unlike domestic appliances, this thing doesn't have high pressure reels. I think it's high pressure, well, I'm not sure. It does show up to 25 bar on the pressure gauges. I think they're on the firefighting lines and the lances and things. So I'll just show you, there's the two valves. We've got the transmission dip there as well. Up in the top there, there's a little diesel tank. I think, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think that is for, or was for, the night heater, although the night heater now runs off the main fuel tank by the look of it. And there we have a little miniature fire control panel. So we've got a hand throttle, we've got a pressure gauge, and we've also got the warnings levels for the tanks. Unfortunately, the tin worm's got the best of this. It's not actually really attached anymore. So we'll take that off and probably have to get a new one made. It's that bad. Up there where those two keys are hanging, that is your pump drain and pump primer point. Although the pump drain doesn't appear to be attached actually. So again, they will need to sort. So now there's bits of aluminium in here that's a bit worse for wear. Go along, we've then got our water tank fill. Oh, underneath that locker there's a pipe which is a foam fill and drain. I suppose just pump it in instead of carrying it up in drums. And here we've got these two taps, and again, unlike a domestic appliance, I believe you have to fill this thing from a hydrant. So you connect the hydrant onto there, it forces the water into the tank. When it overflows, it literally, there's a big hole in the overflow coming down from the tank, a bit like a toilet system. You'll know it's full because it'll be pouring out on the floor. Over here, nothing overly exciting. We've got a rear locker, a bit more storage probably for hoses. There's a panel there which would allow us to get in and probably remove the heat exchanger, because if we walk around underneath, oh no, in fact there is something, I have no idea what that is. Oh, it could be a heat exchanger for something. I don't know if you can see up in that gap there. We'll take that panel off and have a look another day. It's part of the 240 voltage thing there for the block heaters, a big heat exchanger, and then back of the fuel tank. So go around. There's this panel here. Let's do that. Lets us look in the back of the engine bay, which is I don't know why. The switch there tells us the engine bay is open, although it's one of the many things that doesn't work. Got a 240 input plug, which is I wouldn't want to plug it in. I'll say that much. It's supposed to auto eject the plug out. I assume when you start the engine it'll spit it out and away you can go. Battery isolator in there and some quite dubious wiring. This one's a bit broken, but we have up in the back here a rather elderly looking battery charger. It runs off the 240, and we have the hour counters for the engine and the PTO. It says PTO oil pressure, but it's an hour meter. Now we're reading 3,945 hours on the engine and 546 on the PTO, so it's quite low hours really. Got a diesel filler, another pair of fill ports for the tank. And if we come here, we have another locker, which has, I'm not really sure about the whole setup here. We've got a blasting nozzle, what looks like a high pressure hose, but it isn't. And the long thing, I think it's for the BCF. I think it's BCF. I believe is a powder. Oh, it says halon actually, so it's a pretty iffy gas. I think it's for engine fires. So you have this piece here, which you connect to a tank to fill. And use this to fill it, and away it goes. Yeah, I wouldn't really want to be near that. The halon's not a nice thing. Above there, you can just about see. Actually, I don't know if you can. Yeah, up there is a water pump. That's for the deluge. This tank here, behind here, is for the deluge. There's a filler just up here. You see it? That's for your windscreen washers. I'll show you those in a minute. Again, it's something that doesn't seem to work at the moment, but that's like many things. It's just starting to rain as well, so we'll try and wrap this up pretty quickly. These here are, from up on the top when I was looking down earlier, I said I think that's for your foam injection. Those are the valves to control the foam injection. It's sideline 1, sideline 2 and your bumper sprayers. I'm not sure whether foam injection is sorted out for the what do you call it? The main pump. It'll all be in there somewhere. So this is the other side of the pump here really. So there's that hydraulic control valve that I think's for the monitor control. There's a big grey thing up there which I think might be for priming the pump. You can take the panel off and fill it full of water, and there's obviously a pressure gauge there that's seen much better days, which we'll soon sort out. They're not expensive. Yeah, there's a lot of gear there. There is a panel that comes off the back of the cab to get into a lot of that chest. I will another time pull that panel off and we'll have a look. Just got to work out exactly. I've got to work out where to start after this. I've got this air valve to sort out, and then after that, I don't know. I'm just stood here. This indent on the side of the truck. You see the aluminium plates. Originally, there would have been brackets on there for holding a long ladder. When it was new, it had a long ladder there, but the later pictures of them, they only seem to have the short ladder on the roof on the current storage rack. We walk around here to the front. Apologise the mess. So I think it's the first time I've shown you the front of it properly. So we've got the monitor up there, the windscreen. The trim's coming off the window a bit, but that there, I can focus on it. No, move away. Can't really see it, unfortunately. That there's one of the jets. There's 4 of those jets, and they're the deluge for the windscreen. It's to stop the windscreen cracking if you're close to a fire, I believe, or to keep the foam washed off when it's pouring down. So not a lot to say about the front. Flashy lights, headlights. The flashing lights actually do work, the lower ones. The top one only half works. And this here is one of the bumper jets. So you can blast a jet of foam or water out in front of you to make sure if you're driving over fuel, you don't suddenly catch on fire. Again, you've got the other one over there with the spotlight. Underneath this centre panel, there's obviously steering box, brake valves. 2-tone horns are under there. Oh, I've left my like pipe wrenches underneath, so I can grab those in it. And that silver panel there, I'm not 100% sure what's under there, I've not looked yet. But you can get to one of the steering joints, I think. This centrepiece, the bash guard does fold down, and then you can take off this centrepiece here, I think. There's a few different bits and pieces. Oh my god, there's a load of relays under there. We shall have to have a proper look at that. And again, that's once we start looking and chasing all the electrical gremlins down, we'll have a proper look. So I think I'm going to leave it there for now, and we're going to see if we can get this air valve to work. Today's gone really quite well, really. It's the first day I've done any real work on the Marlin. One of the things I found out today is I suck at making videos and keeping things in focus. I'm using a DSLR, and for some reason while it's videoing it doesn't seem to want to autofocus. So I need to work out what I'm doing wrong there. Keep rambling as well, which I'm doing again now. After the point where I sort of finished filming, I did film a little bit more, but it wasn't worth putting in. I came back from the house. When I took the air valve apart, I didn't film it because I didn't expect it to actually work. But when I took it apart, it was two housings. So you've got the top housing, bottom housing, and inside is just a little rubber disc. And there was a lot of debris in there, so I cleared all the debris out, put it back together again, slung it back on the truck, and it's cured the bad air leak that I've got. It hasn't cured the issue I'm having with the secondary air tank not charging. The main tanks charge up within a few minutes, very quickly. The auxiliary tank charges very quickly. There's got to be a priority valve somewhere that's sticking. It is charging very slowly. Probably had the engine run for about an hour and a half, and I got about 2.5, maybe 3 bar into the tank, which is obviously not right, so we need to look into that a bit more. Did a bit more investigating while I was there. I was messing about with the monitor. I've actually taken the slew motor off the monitor. I've managed to swing it back round into place and lock it, so it's in its travel position now and locked in. The problem is the motor's seized up. There was water above it and it's seized up, so I need to buy some blanking caps for the pipes. Once I've done that, I'll take the motor off, bring it home, pull it apart and see what happens. It might be have to try to find a replacement, or I might be able to repair this one. We'll see. I really need to look at the hydraulic system on it because it looks like ATF. It's got a red colour and it's very emulsified. It's horrible pink at the moment, so that one needs draining down and replacing. A couple of other things I did. I messed about with the air system a bit more, and when you've got the fire panel turned on, there's also an air leak that's draining the auxiliary tanks very quickly, or it's bringing the auxiliary tanks down and the engine can't keep up quick enough. I've had a look. I've gone into the panel in the front right hand locker where the 3 valves are that are for the foam injection. I've looked a bit harder at that. The left hand one, which is for sideline 1, which I think is the front sideline, it's leaking from there. That one's set, it's bent away from where it should be. It's not sat properly, so I think water's got in there, frozen up, and it's blowing the casing. So I need to pull that off and have a look, although again these things aren't really important, but at the moment every little helps. It was chucking it down with rain, so I wasn't filming with a camera, and all I've done is I've pulled the pipe out of that one, I've pulled the pipe out of the air supply pipe out of the next one along, and I've just bypassed it, so that valve isn't getting air now, so I'm not losing a massive amount of air from that. I can mess about with the other bits on it and see where I go. Really, that's all I've done today. I say all I've done today, I've done far more than I expected. I never thought I'd fix that or get that valve to stop leaking. I didn't expect to look at anything else really. I came along to take a bit of a video to put on YouTube so people could see see the start of the project. I'm going to try and do some more research into the truck itself. I've got a phone call to speak to a guy that worked for Bowtons when the chassis was built. I've been told that they were involved in the design of the chassis and also in the redesign of the Marlins once they were built by Bowton. So that'd be quite interesting. I'll let people know, I'll let you all know what I find out. What I'm going to try and do, I've never done it before, is I'm going to upload this video to YouTube, and I'm going to try to put some links to some other people's videos at the end of this. One link is going to be to a gentleman called Lawrence from Extreme Garage UK. He bought a fire engine this year for scrap, and he's done it up, and he's just recently done a charity run for it. He's raising money for firefighters. I think it's absolutely brilliant. He was partly my inspiration to get up and actually go and get a fire engine because I wanted one. My main inspiration for this, who's probably going to take a lot of the blame in the future, is Laurie from Laurie's Mechanical Marvels. He's got a couple of fire engines, he's got a lot of other vehicles. His channel's well worth a look at. There's all sorts of things being worked on there. And the third channel is Danga Marine, which is a guy out in Australia. He's doing up a steel trawler at the moment. He's got videos of outboard motors and boats and things. It's all to do with boating. But the reason I'm going to add him in is I've been watching his project, really enjoying it, and he's somebody else that's got something with a Detroit engine in it, because Detroit's a bit of an unusual thing, especially in the UK. I'm not sure about Australia so much. So I'm going to put those links in. If you've liked the video, click like please, comment if you want to know anything. I probably won't have an answer for you, but I'll try. Stick it in the comments, and hopefully I'll do some more videos as I do some more work on it and we find out more about it, and hopefully the quality of the videos will go up, and hopefully I'll see you soon. So thanks a lot, and cheerio.